I thought the boys fought through a lot of circumstances this week and were ready to play. But we didn't start well enough on offense. A lot of credit to them. I have a lot of love for Manhattan, Kansas, and this school, having been here, and know Coach Carlin as a friend and former co-worker. I want to congratulate them. They got a lot better over the bye week. They used the bye week well, and they gave us their best shot. So congratulations to them.
The offense wasn't able to do a whole lot in the first half, other than the DJ Black reception, but to make a game of it in the fourth quarter, to be a score away from, or a score away potentially to make it a one-score game, can you take solace in the fight that your team had?
Yeah, we just can't start like that. Watching them on tape, really the way people got after them is they earned first downs and made K-State defend runs, and then get another first down, make them defend runs, and sooner or later something popped. And that happened for us in the second half. We didn't earn any first downs at the start of the game. Just quarterback guys in the wrong place here or there. K-State making the right call against what we had on here or there, and we just sputtered in the first half, and we couldn't get any momentum going. And, in the second half we started to, and some of the runs that we expected to hit. Made a couple of good adjustments for how they were playing our different formations. But going into the game, we expected them to use tempo and try to go fast and run the quarterback, which is what happened. And because of that, we wanted to try to control the ball and time of possession. And it completely went against our plan to begin with. And we left the defense in their defense. We left our defense out there too long. And we got to keep fighting despite that, but we didn't put them in a good situation.
Scott, Tayven goes down in the first half. We see him on the sideline with a sling. Then second half he comes out and you suit him up and he gets suited up again and he comes back out. Can you explain what kind of happened between with that injury and possibly why he went back on the field?
Well, he got planted in the turf pretty good, which didn't make me happy. But I was told that it was a collarbone, so we were planning on moving forward without. I give him a lot of credit. It was an AC sprain. Same with Jakari. Jakari got one at the end of the first half, so I honestly left the locker room after halftime thinking Cam was going to come back in. We started with Jakari, and then Tate said he was ready and came back in. Those kids are tough.
You talked about leaving your defense out there too long. How would you evaluate your rush defense, though? Dylan Everett's had a good game for Kansas State.
Well, on both sides, I think there's fast players, Dylan Edwards being one of them, and I recruited him. You just can't give them that many opportunities. At times we just squashed them. I mean, when we triggered on things and played our defense the right way, there wasn't much there. But when you give a kid like him or Avery enough chances, their speed's going to make some plays. And we needed those chances to hit some of the runs that popped in the second half. They got more of those chances because they did a better job earning first downs early, and the time possession was in their favor.
How much did it surprise you when they changed up quarterbacks in the first quarter?
Anytime you have a bye week and you can really evaluate yourself, I think you usually come out and make adjustments and do things better. It doesn't really surprise me. We did the same thing a week ago. But again, I played in that island game that K-State played in, and you put a lot of effort and energy into that, and it doesn't go well. It's kind of hard to right the ship again. I think the bye week came at the right time for them. And like I said, I'm taking nothing away from them. I think we got their best shot, and I'm not sure we quite gave them our best shot, which is a shame, but that's on me.
You mentioned that you were planning to go forward with Cam. So what was the timeline with Tayven, and what were you surprised that he was cleared and ready to go back out there?
Well, it was either going to be Jakari or Cam coming out of the locker room. We needed to see Jakari throw and make sure he could operate. First thing was make sure he could lift his arm to catch the snap. I got the green light on him, so we started the second half with him. And then the trainer came and told me that Cam around the table wanted to go. So, we'll get him evaluated and see how they are for us.
Coach, how tough was this week, just with everything that happened, and Coach Clark, and especially for your offensive line?
Yeah, that's a different conversation because I've talked a lot about that, and I don't want to make that sound like an excuse. we got beat by a good football team that's lost some close games. I think if things would have started different, the game might have been different, but I got a lot of respect for what they did, and they got better as a football team, and we need to take this one and get better as a football team.
What do you say about your team, though, not giving up and responding, especially in the second half?
Yeah, I don't think this team will ever give up. I think we could lose 3 or 4 straight, this team won't give up. We're starting to develop a bond, and I said this early on, but you got to go through some success and some hard things in order to really come together as a crew. There's no doubt now that this group's been through some hard things. I think that's brought us close together. I think it drained us of some energy, it drained me of some energy, just the emotions of everything. But I think in the long run, it'll make us better. Credit to Kansas State, and I'm a Chris Klein and a Kansas State fan, but we got to learn to execute better, and that's part of being a young team. We can't get down in the red zone and false start and have delay of games, and we're starting to make adjustments and call things that weren't necessarily on the call sheet because of what they were doing. Kids were a little slow to get it. The biggest turn of events in that game was we hit the big pass to go down, and we were down 3 points, and we couldn't get a stop right there. That would have given us all the momentum in the second half to come out with the ball down 3. At times the defense smothered them. At times we just weren't quite where we were supposed to be, and they made us pay for it. We got to be able to catch punts. It's little things that we need to keep improving, and that's on us as coaches to make sure that we still have a relatively young and inexperienced team, and we're doing our best to stay ahead of the curve. But every game in the Big 12, in my opinion, is going to be like this. Pretty evenly matched teams, and if you play your best, you got a great chance to win. If you play less than your best, you're going to get beat. And we get beat by a good team today that played pretty well.
Is this like a learning, and this is definitely a learning experience for you guys? Do you think something from this experience and move forward with it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll definitely learn things. I don't want to speak too much about it until I watch the tape and dissect the tape. An example, though, I'm watching our offensive line, and I told them after one drive, I said, it looks like they're playing harder than you. Come on, boys. It wasn't necessarily that. They were just mixing up their fits, and our guys just haven't seen it enough to know that they ID somebody and they're going to that guy, but he disappears and the safety comes down in the box, and they need to come off the double team to the safety instead of the guy they originally ID'd. It's little things like that we'll get better at as the guys continue to see more. The one thing that disappointed me is, we practice outside in the heat every day, and defense kind of has an excuse because they played a lot in the first half. But our receivers got too tired too fast. And when they're fresh, they can run and they scare you. When they're not fresh, we didn't look good enough. So we need to be a little tougher and be able to push through that a little better. And I think that's more mindset.
You popped a few of the big runs in the second half. Overall, though, what do you feel like has been lacking in developing consistency in between the tackles and the run game overall?
Well, a lot of the stuff I was talking about, and then just committing to it a little bit too. Preparing for this game was unique because we had the Army game that didn't really give us anything, and then Iowa State, who's not really like us, and then North Dakota and Arizona, and they pretty much ran a carbon copy blueprint of each other's game plan, and there's a lot of formations we didn't even have a look at for how they were going to line up and what they were going to do. Again, not an excuse. It was just a challenge. The thing that stood out watching the first 4 games against Kansas State was they got creased on some runs, and it wasn't consistent. They'd make a play, and then somebody would misfit something and they'd crease it. And you had to earn first downs in order to put yourself in more of those situations to get those big runs, and that's what Arizona did better than we did. We just, especially in the first half, we didn't earn enough chances to keep committing to
Scott, you've seen some tough quarterback play out of guys like Mackenzie Milton during your time. What is when you see Tayven go out and be able to do the things he did after going through some of that being hurt? What does that say to you? See that toughness come from your quarterback?
Yeah, they're all tough.
Yeah.
Cam's tough after what he went through. Shakari's a tough kid, and Tay's proving he's tough kid. So, you know, I can get better, they can get better, and we will get better. I think this team has more room for growth than most teams around the country because of how it was built and put together and the experience that we still need. But, you know, I love the attitude in the locker room after the game. I don't think they feel like they gave K-State quite their best shot, and we all need to work to make sure that when we get on the field, we play our best, and that's the only way you can win this thing.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, Myles, can you just kind of speak on the game? I know the first half didn't go the way you guys wanted, but in the fourth quarter, you were right there. If you score, you make it a one-score game. So kind of talk about the fight you guys had to make it a game toward the end.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys for fighting and not giving up. Winning's hard, especially in the Big 12. But it comes down to just coming out fast earlier, especially going on the road. We don't really have, we can't afford to just come out slow, especially in the Big 12 on the road. So we'll get that cleaned up, and next away game, we're attacking it. It's a learning experience more than it is a heartbreak, you know what I mean? Like, we want to win every game, but the reality is that's hard. It's really hard to do. So the only thing you can do is look at it with the fine-tooth comb and figure out where we can get better at.
Scott said that he was pleased with at least the locker room, the attitude of the locker room after the loss. What did you see from your teammates or yourself coming in after the loss?
And he hit it right on the head. And it kind of goes back to what we were trying to build over the offseason about guys who are just going to fight. No matter the outcome, just fight for one another. And whatever happens, happens. That's kind of how we do things now around here, man. Just give it your best. Once you give it your best, and you know, let the chips fall where they may. So I'm proud of how the energy is in the locker room. I mean, he hit it right on the head.
Speaking of fight, Tayven comes out, Tayven goes back in. What does that say about him and his, wanting to play? And,
yeah. He's a really tough guy, really tough cookie. You want that at a quarterback. You know, usually quarterbacks are kind of the stereotype of like trying to be the pretty boy and don't touch me. But he proved. I'm pretty sure he earned some more respect than he already had on the team, being able to go back in and do his thing.
How much did it surprise you? You see his arm in a sling. You think he's done for the day, maybe?
Yeah. I've never seen that before. But shoot, man, that goes to the type of player he is. You know what I mean? Game's not going too well. Coach, put my pads back on. And that's what you want. I commend that. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I'm going to give him flowers for that. You know what I mean? That's the type of person I want to block for.
Coach mentioned that you guys popped a few things that you were expecting to do going into the game, in the run game. What's not working maybe consistently that you guys are hoping to improve upon as weeks go by?
I mean, again, we're young, experience-wise, not age, so they're doing a good job of switching up their fronts and not doing the same thing more than once. So it was kind of hard to get a key on them. Came back at halftime and what was the word for it? We kind of ironed it out and kind of honed in what they were doing. Went back to our basics, and we had a little bit more success.
Myles, can you speak? Coach Frost said maybe some of the guys weren't prepared for the heat. He said the receivers maybe were a little bit winded in the second half. Did you see that yourself?
I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention to that. I mean, if he said it, then it's true. He's not a liar. I mean, shoot. I don't know. I really wasn't paying attention to that, to be honest with you. I will say I like the way when we decided to go tempo. You know, Coach Frost, that's his thing. We did execute very well. I mean, we did kind of go back to our old ways a little bit on that last drive we had going away from this end zone with the penalties and the delay games and whatnot. But up until that point, we've been doing a really good job. We've been improving from each and every game. We just kind of spiraled there and went back to our old ways.
Myles, what can you guys do to learn from this experience, I guess, and to take it to the next game?
Yeah, be critical with yourself. It's easy to sit here and try to make excuses. Man, we could have got this, could have got that. Man, holding here, holding there. I mean, whatever happened, it happened. You kind of got to be hard on yourself, be truthful with yourself, and that's how you get better.
The first time we spoke to any players since Coach Clark's passing. So this week for you guys as individuals and as a unit, what was it like, and how did you guys try to work and bond through it?
I don't know. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know for me personally, it was a bit different pregame. You know, I started crying and everything just because it just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? We're going to miss him.
How is it for the offensive line that you kind of sense the emotion from those guys especially?
What?
Do you sense the emotion from the offensive line for those guys especially?
Yeah, you know, like I said, all of us want to play for Coach Clark, and I felt it from the boys. was.
And you find that it brought you guys closer together throughout this week?
Brought the team closer together. Obviously, the defensive players didn't know them as well. They've seen us hurt with our brothers, so they did their best to keep us up.
What's up?
Antoine, just kind of speak on the overall effort today. I mean, you guys, they had a bye week to prepare for you. Was there any new wrinkles to the K-State offense?
They did come out and show a couple of things, but we was prepared for it all. I love how the defense and the whole team, including the offense, everybody all fought to the end and kept playing all the way to the end.
Coach talked about in the locker room afterwards. He was somewhat happy about the attitude that the team had after the loss. That there was fire there, you know. So is that what you took from the players coming in after the loss?
Yeah, 100%. We got a long season. I mean, we got like 8 more games. We got a great opportunity next week. Kansas, a good team coming into the bounce house, and we got to protect the home too.
When they mixed up quarterbacks in the first quarter, what did you guys do to adjust to that?
Honestly, we just played it the same. Like I said, we prepared for it all. We repped it in practice, and we were just ready for it all.
What changed maybe as the first half wore on? Because you guys got three stops or held to a field goal in the third drive, and we were able to kind of find a rhythm and get it going.
I mean, honestly, like I said, we all just fought to the end and not paying attention to the scoreboard and just fighting and just kept attacking.
Yeah, you guys run the field a lot sometimes. Like, what was Coach Grinch? What was his message to the defense after the game?
Just to be proud of how we kept fighting and how we kept going no matter the score, what it is, just keep attacking.
Is this an opportunity to learn some things to take into next week's game? You know, some things maybe you guys didn't do as well this week that you can maybe improve on this next week?
100%. There's a lot of things we can improve on, but to circle back what I was saying, we just happy with the fight we kept doing. We just kept coming, but it's definitely a lot of things that we will improve on.
Tayven comes out, Tayven goes back in. Have you ever seen anything like that? What'd you think when he came back into the game?
Man, he's fighting, man. He's fighting for the team. We know he always in pain, and he just kept going and kept fighting. He's just showing he's a leader. He's a dog.
How does that motivate you and your teammates when you see someone like that?
It just shows us how bad he want to win for the team. He's out there sacrificing his body as a quarterback, so it just give us the energy and just allow us to keep attacking.
What do you think of Malachi's performance, like particularly again, having to defend the edge against a guy like Avery who can get out and run?
Man, I love the whole D-line, man. The D-line, there's some dogs up there, man. They make our job easy in the back end, and I know they'll give it their all, so we all give it our all.
What you're looking forward to next week to have, your own atmosphere at home. It was obviously a great atmosphere for K-State. You guys host Kansas next week.
Like I say, them guys are a great team, and they're coming into the bounce house. And every week, we just looking to just attack, and just play our best ball and just play hard as we can.
I said you got hit pretty hard. Can you tell us what happened on that play and what led to the decision to enable you to come back and play? Because it looked like you were in a sling. We all thought you were out.
Yeah, just went back and got an X-ray and just AC joint. Just I don't want to let my, I want to go out there.
So what's that moment like when you realize it's nothing more serious than that? Where you saying, I want to go back in? Did you go to Coach Rock? What was that time frame?
Yeah, it was just, it can't, get worse. So just gotta cut through it. So my teammates were very supportive, and it was, we fought hard. So.
Were you in pain the second half? I mean, when you suit back up again,
yeah,
you get hit, stuff like that?
Yeah, there was pain, but it's pain every time you get hit. So just gotta get through it.
What message does it send to your teammates when a quarterback's willing to throw his body out there like that?
I just think that's who we are as a team. I think that's what Coach Frost teaches us, and that's what our culture is, just being tough. So it's just natural.
So how have you processed it? I mean, obviously, not only the emotions of the day, but just the emotions of the whole week.
Yeah, it's been an emotional week, and obviously it's an emotional time right now because we didn't get the win. So yeah, I would say it's an emotional time right now, but we'll bounce back because we're fighters. So.
About 9-10 minutes left in the game. You guys are driving. You score. It's only a one-score game. Just kind of the penalties.
That was on me. That drive was on me. A lot of things were on me. Clock management, getting the play called fast in the huddle. So I take full responsibility for those couple drives.
Coach Ross talked about coming in after the loss and how he was at least somewhat pleased with how the atmosphere was in the locker room. That there was fights still in the locker room.
Yeah.
And better. What does that say about this team? The fact that there was no heads down after this loss.
Yeah, that says a lot about our team. That we have fight and we don't get down because winning is hard, and especially in college football, as you see around the country. So you can't get down. All you gotta do is it's all about positive energy, and that's what we did in halftime. And I feel like we came out pretty well. But there's a lot of things to clean up. But it wasn't our best day today.
Defense gets the interception on that first drive. It gives it back to the offense.
Yeah.
You guys sort of stalled. How important was it to get off to a better start?
Yeah, we always we got to get to a better start after the defense gives us the ball like that. But we'll get that cleaned up, and that's just execution. There was a lot of receivers open that we needed to hit.
So you got an X-ray at halftime. What else was kind of the timeline during that period before you came back out after the drive-in and started suiting up?
Say it again.
Just a timeline from through halftime to the point where you started suiting back up.
Yeah, it was just adrenaline, and just want to go out there for my teammates, and I don't want to let them down. So if I can't get worse, then might as well gut it out.
How emotional was this week for you guys, and especially your offensive line?
It was emotional. It was we wanted this game for Coach Clark, but I know he's up there, wanting to get to the film and teach us little things that we did wrong. But we tried. We came out there. I feel like we played with great energy, and we gave it all that we had. And there's a lot of things that we need to clean up, but that's the exciting part.
Time for a few more.
Cam and Jakari have also dealt with injuries this year. What do you feel like that says about your unit and how you guys have wanted to continue to fight?
Yeah, we preached that tough quarterback equals tough team. So there's only one way to play quarterback, and that's to be tough. And that's what we try to do.
You'd rather learn during a win, but what do you learn about yourself and your teammates in this loss?
That we fight. You know what I'm saying? We could have laid down, but we didn't. We kept fighting, and we tried to claw and scratch, and we did a good job, but we didn't do enough. But that's everywhere. So that's again, it's the good part that we're right there.
Your quarterback coach McKenzie was known for being a tough quarterback and went through his own tough times like you did today. What did he say anything to you when you were getting ready to put the suit up again? What's looking at?
He just asked me, you ready? You good? And I said, yeah. He said, all right, bet.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody. Thanks.